Thank you, and thank you for joining the webinar today. Here is the agenda. I'm going to address how COVID-19 has been an accelerant of many existing marketing trends. I will talk about changes that we've observed in business and human behavior over the last year. I'm going to speak about some current consumer trends in Japan using a recently released research study. I'm going to talk about the role that direct mail has had during the COVID-19 crisis. Many categories have successfully used direct mail. It's a channel that marketers should be thinking about even during this time. Lastly, I'm going to provide ideas for how you can manage your marketing program during the remainder of 2021. Many other countries have gone through the same stages that Japan is going through with many pivots, like multiple emergency orders. I'll address some ways that you can plan for both expected and unexpected changes in your marketing programs. COVID-19 has been an accelerant of existing marketing trends. In more than a year, I haven't started a presentation without mentioning COVID-19. It's changed the way organizations go to market and do business. Many of the trends that are associated with COVID-19 are trends that were in place before the pandemic. For a long time, businesses and people have lived with an ongoing series of next normals. This trend has been accelerated during COVID-19. During the last 12 months, marketers have been working with fewer resources, smaller budgets, fewer full-time equivalents, more marketing automation, and quicker turnarounds. This is not new, but marketers have never seen so many forces converge at once. We're all working remotely, some businesses for a few months, other businesses for more than a year. Many staffers have missed the collaboration and interaction of the office. Business-to-business marketing, well, how do you reach decision makers in offices that are closed? Home has become the center of life, work, and leisure. This is not easy on adults, children, or extended families. What made it possible? Having things delivered or using curbside pickup, including groceries, dinners, products from home centers, hardware stores, and everyday items. For many marketers, data has become more important. It's how we learn about customers and serve their needs. Data privacy has gotten the attention of consumers and regulators. We're also seeing the end of third-party cookies, which is already starting to change digital marketing in a very big way. Not all business categories have suffered during COVID-19. Many have grown over the last year, including those involved in digital transformation, education technology, financial technology, insurance technology, and health technology. In today's presentation, I'll explain how you can adapt your business to these changing trends. It will not be business as usual in 2021. An ongoing cycle of pivots and iterations, maybe for years. Marketers have had to learn to pivot as emergency actions were taken, businesses closed, then opened, only to go through the same cycle once again as new waves of COVID-19 occurred or new variants were discovered. Businesses will continue through the same cycle of starts and stops, learning new things, starting new marketing campaigns, optimizing those campaigns, only to stop, then start once again. In the days of mass advertising, marketing relied on big creative ideas and lengthy advertising campaigns. For decades, marketing has smaller ideas, shorter campaigns, more versions, and more iterations. COVID-19 has exaggerated that trend as businesses have had to change their messaging through changing stages or next normals of the pandemic. we've had even more iterations where we adjust, launch, optimize, and then stop our marketing. Companies report that the highest ranked skills they're looking for in new hires is the ability to pivot, innovate, and navigate through uncertain times. These skills rank higher than data science or MarTech experience. However, these are challenging soft skills to learn in normal business times. Marketing training budgets will need a fresh look. The challenge for marketers will be how to maintain this pivot-ready mindset among their teams once things calm down. Recognize cyclical versus structural changes. Permanent trends versus short-term trends. Cyclical themes. Cyclical themes, these occur at short, regular, or medium-term intervals. They're typically based on changes in the business cycle. Structural themes occur as one-off shifts that are longer-term in nature and are driven by powerful forces such as disruptive technologies, changing demographics, and consumer behavior. COVID-19 has influenced many structural dispersions, some of which have been occurring for years before the pandemic. Dispersion is the act or process of distributing things or people over a wide area. The pandemic is causing dispersion in industries. Work from home, telemedicine, and remote learning represents an impending disruption of over 25% of the U.S. economy. Cities will return as they have after every pandemic, war, or disaster. Streetscapes will evolve as many retailers don't return, but new retailers and businesses take their place. Offices will become hybrid models, with some people and teams working some days and others working other days. Office buildings and office spaces will have some space converted into shared offices, teaching pods, residential spaces, and mixed-use development sharing offices, residential, retail, restaurants, lounges, and hotels. Restaurants? Well, restaurant delivery will continue as consumers of all ages have gotten used to it. Takeout will continue, especially with restaurants in locations such as central cities, around transport areas like train stations, and to add menus not easy to make or cook at home. Dine-in will recover, but slowly, as restaurants are required to maintain social distancing, lower quantities of guests, and concerns over personal safety persist. Travel. Leisure travel is already bouncing back. Each week, airplane boardings to vacation destinations are increasing. Business travel won't rebound quickly, as businesses can save money when a 1-hour Zoom meeting may be all that is needed. Movie theaters may not recover for years. Movie theaters have made a great profit on concessions, popcorn, candy, and soda, more so than they have on ticket sales. Streaming video was taking a toll before 2020. Movies are released simultaneously in theaters and on streaming services. Families don't have to interrupt their day to go to a theater when they can stream their favorite movies on their own devices. Healthcare. Prior to 2020, telehealth hadn't yet become a mainstream avenue of care, despite the technology being in place for at least a decade. From January 2020 to June 2020, 30% of all outpatient visits in the U.S. were provided via telemedicine. The weekly number of telemedicine visits rose by 23-fold during the same time. Both patients and physicians are interested in using telehealth after COVID-19. However, there are barriers to future use, such as digital literacy and telehealth access. 1 in 3 U.S. households headed by seniors do not have computer access, and more than 50% lack a smartphone. There are time savings in not going to travel to a doctor's office, find transportation, and wait at their offices for your appointment. Many patients feel like they get additional time and attention using telemedicine calls when they visit a doctor than when they visit a doctor in their office. This has made telehealth a popular alternative, which will likely continue well after the pandemic. The ongoing coronavirus pandemic has changed so much about our lives this year. So, how has direct mail marketing responded? Consumer lifestyles have shifted over the past 7 months. So have marketing campaigns from companies in many industry categories and subcategories. COVID-19 has pushed many consumers to shop, think, and buy differently than in any single cause in the past several decades. Think of the impact this has made. Overall, mail volume is down, though not as much as originally forecast or feared. But what's been in the mail has seen changes and shifts that ultimately mean greater change than recessions or other extraordinary events. So how have industry categories fared during the last 4 months of the pandemic? Not surprisingly, the top categories are retail, financial service, insurance, healthcare, not-for-profits, and internet service providers. Other categories mailed as well, like home protection, as we spent more time at home than ever before. Real estate companies have used direct mail for marketing homes and condominium purchases, as well as home and apartment rentals. Home remodeling was also a popular category, as consumers noticed things in their homes and apartments that they wanted to change. This includes cost-efficient upgrades for home offices, kitchens, and custom built-in furniture designed and scaled to fit existing living spaces while adding needed additional storage. The broader category of direct-to-consumer marketing has seen an amazing increase in promotion, has everything from age-specific products to streaming, wellness, fitness, meals, grocery, gifts, and even pet products grew. The traditional audience for direct mail has changed, so we're starting to rethink the audience for direct mail. Baby boomers were greatly responsible for direct mail's growth in the 20th century. We can now see this changing for direct mail across the world. Millennials are now 30% of the US population and are well into their prime career and family building years. The same stages of life that baby boomers were at when the use of direct mail was growing in popularity. Gen Z represents 30% of the US population. Many grew up with a mobile device in their hands, babysitting them with videos before they could even talk. These are the first generation of true digital natives, more comfortable living their lives digitally than in the real world. Women are now 50% of the population and are often the main decision makers for purchases like homes, cars, credit cards, insurance, and life-changing purchases. Many younger digital users have installed ad blocking technologies, so they're not interrupted by ads. Digital ads are not reaching more than 50% of Gen Z and millennials at their prime buying times. No wonder direct mail has become a tool to build trust, build relationships, influence younger cohorts, and reach them as their buying power grows. Survey: Japanese consumer sentiment during the COVID-19 crisis. The data highlighted over the next few pages is based on survey data collected in Japan from February 24 through 27, 2021 by the consulting firm McKinsey & Company. It provides insights into Japanese consumer sentiments, behaviors, income, spending, and expectations. Japanese consumer optimism about economic recovery is improving steadily. The majority of consumers are still cautious about re-engaging in out-of-home activities. In Japan, consumer sentiment continues to be conservative given a third state of emergency that was enacted in April 2021. Consumers continue to explore new shopping behaviors and show an intent to continue these new behaviors past COVID-19. The following exhibits are based on survey data collected. McKinsey identified 5 significant consumer behaviors from the impact of COVID-19. Some of these behaviors are expected to have a lasting impact in Japan. Point 1, there is a remaining cautiousness among Japanese consumers. 85% of consumers surveyed are not yet resuming out-of-home activities, despite significant COVID-19 fatigue among young and old consumers. This cautiousness will remain until large-scale vaccinations are completed. At the time of this survey, less than 1% of Japan's population was vaccinated. Point 2, spend surge by wealthier young consumers. 58% of high-income Gen Z consumers surveyed intend to splurge on purchases after the COVID-19 pandemic. Gen Z consumers are a small group. The majority of Japanese consumers reporting that they will resist the urge to spend money on themselves until after the end of the pandemic. Point 3, continued loyalty disruption. 38% of consumers have changed stores, brands, and the way they shop. Consumers decided many categories were not important during COVID-19, from business travel to cosmetics, sun care items, even automobile parts. Companies that didn't adapt quickly enough ran out of products. This has given consumers permission to say, I'm going to try another brand, a different product, or another store. The impact on consumer loyalty may be long-term as consumers substitute their old brands or stores for those more available, better quality, or more convenient, and never return to their pre-pandemic favorites again. Point 4, the rooting of new digital behavior. 96% of consumers intend to continue purchasing online after COVID-19 from those who currently do. Many consumers have rushed to online shopping during COVID-19. They have found online ordering quick, easy, and convenient. Retail will be one of the most affected and changed categories after COVID-19. Point 5, continued flexible work styles. 60% of consumers expect to work from home the same or more after COVID-19. This is another behavior that is easy to understand. The idea of distributed workforces or remote work is not new. It's become a necessity during COVID-19. For workers, it means no long commutes to and from the office, more healthy home meals, more time with family, small children, and pets. While not perfect for everyone, working from home fits the lifestyles and goals of many Gen X and millennial employees. They don't ever want to work in an office. Businesses will have to address this in the future. Nearly 1/3 of Japanese consumers report having made important life changes, including 12% have worked more from home over the last year. Additionally, nearly 4% have moved. 7% have done renovations to their homes, including setting up workspaces, a gym, or just remodeling to make their home more comfortable during COVID-19. 13% report making investments like buying a car, rethinking their savings and investments, or buying or selling a property. Just 2% report buying a new dog, cat, or other pet during the pandemic. An important aspect of the survey regards how consumers have adapted their digital habits during the crisis. More than 1/3 of Japanese consumers have tried a new shopping behavior, and the majority intend to continue. Digital has become a lifeline during COVID-19. It's how many people consume information, news, entertainment, sports events, receive healthcare, did business, had meetings, and shopped. Digital has transformed the way we live, work, buy, and communicate. It's up to organizations to see beyond to the next normal and what will continue when these things start to tradition back. Behaviors such as professional video conferencing and personal learning will remain after COVID-19. There's been a shift to cooking and baking, online streaming, remote learning, and social media usage like TikTok. Many new behaviors have been stimulated by COVID-19 and present growth opportunities for marketers. Those behaviors are in the lower left corner of the chart and highlighted in pink. They include personal care and grooming at home, online gaming, personal video chatting, and remote learning for children. Especially growing in popularity within Japan is the watching of esports, such as Overwatch, Hearthstone, and League of Legends. Post-pandemic and downturns and recessions have taught us vital lessons about marketing at times of economic uncertainty. However, none of us could have anticipated a need to pandemic-proof our marketing strategies. We've learned a great deal in the last year. Among the many aspects of marketing that have been in flux over the last year is the allocation of marketing budgets. Shifting consumer shopping behaviors, emergency orders, social distancing mandates, and the increased demand for digital communications have required marketers to rethink line items and investment priorities. So what should you do for the remainder of 2021? These bullet points are not so much a marketing roadmap as they are key focus areas for marketing organizations. Every organization is different, so the attention that you need to put into each area will be unique to your organization. Still, these are 6 areas that chief marketing officers around the world are focused on right now, and it's likely you should be too. Here are the 6 areas. Boost marketing spending, improve organizational efficiency, use data more effectively, increase marketing automation, map your customer's journey, plan for the unexpected. Boost marketing spending. Nearly 2/3 of global marketers recently surveyed by the Chief Marketing Officer Council said they plan to boost marketing spending in 2021. Just 10% plan to reduce spending. Investing in customer analytics, customer insights, and marketing intelligence. Start by accessing your customer data to improve your marketing. Use customer insights and marketing intelligence tools. If you don't have the experience with these tools, find a qualified partner that can help. Most organizations have more data than they know about. Identify where that data is stored and how you can access it and make the most of it in most cases. In most cases, organizations don't need more data. They need to use the data that they have better. Create new campaign executions. In 2022, you should be testing new ideas. At some point, the pandemic will be over and you'll have to grow and expand your business. Test new ideas, new strategy, new messaging, and additional channels. Improve your customer experience and customer engagement. Identify where your organization is doing a good job of appealing to what prospects and customers are searching for, and where you are losing them in the marketing process. Identify where you are engaging customers and where customers are disconnecting from your marketing. Find ways to improve and make your marketing program more efficient. Improve organizational efficiency. After more than a year of crisis communication, marketing adjustments, and resource realignment, marketing operations everywhere are feeling a strain. Early in the pandemic, there were budget reductions and hiring freezes, yet workloads have shown no sign of slowing. Some marketing organizations are thriving, even growing, by meeting the challenges and adapting to changing business categories. Here are some adjustments that you can make to your marketing or operations to thrive in 2021. Efficiency versus productivity. Efficiency is all about getting the same amount of work done with fewer resources. Productivity, while similar to efficiency, focuses on achieving higher output with the same resources. In today's economic environment, it's not efficiency or productivity discussion. It's both. More is expected of smaller teams, but the team's output must increase for the organization to grow. Reduce organizational drag. Most employees want to be productive, but the organization often gets in the way. An average company loses more than 20% of its productive capacity to organizational drag. That's one day each week. Structures and processes consume time and prevent people from getting things done. What is organizational drag? An example is the inefficiencies of campaign execution, the back and forth of collecting materials, updating benefits, prices, getting approvals, and endless revisions, many of which won't change the performance of your marketing efforts. The best companies are more than 40% more productive than the rest. These productivity gains translate into 30 to 50% higher profits and faster growth than industry peers. Increase organizational agility. Through the past year, you may have felt like time was standing still. The truth is, everything in our world is getting faster. We've come to expect immediate responses, organizational agility. The combination of speed and stability have become table stakes for marketing organizations. Organizational agility is a threefold objective: a structure that provides stability and scalability, redirecting people and priorities to projects with significant impact, and ability to respond quickly to rapidly changing conditions. As organizations become more agile, all teams are working towards a common objective, with staff resources aligned to support them. This holds especially true for marketing or operations whose skill and deep analytical insights are even more valuable than in the current economic climate. Make sure your team isn't buried in small tasks, taking their time and resources away from projects that have greater impact. Reduce campaign deployment times in long production and program times. Empower your teams to make their own decisions and use marketing to streamline your marketing efforts and demonstrate measurable ROI. Use your data more effectively. As you market in 2021, you need to use the data that you have more effectively. More organizations have more data than they will ever be able to use. Too many organizations don't know what data they have and can't access the data they have and simply have not valued data as the asset that it really is. As you create and implement your customer data strategy, keep these three factors in mind. Combine transactional, behavior, and operational data from multiple channels. This is data already locked within your organization. It simply needs to be located and unlocked to be used. Within this data, you can learn which customers have a higher response rate for your direct mail programs. Are they opening your emails? Do they prefer Apple Pay over credit cards? Installment payments versus paying the full amount? Are they accessing your website via desktop or mobile? Meet your customers where they are most likely to respond to you. Test more productive options, offers, mobile operations, payment terms, and whatever else your customers tell you is important to them. You can observe some of this through behavior. Strategize with your team on which data to collect and how you want to generate and process it. Whether you gather it from customer orders, search and purchase behaviors, email surveys, online help desks, in-store tickets, website browsing, or blog comments. Synthesize it and organize it all together in a single dashboard to look at it and at the data patterns more holistically. Define your desired outcomes. Before you start collecting data, it's important to know what you want to achieve. What problems with your business, marketing, or sales are you trying to solve? Growing profit or others? Do you need to acquire more prospects, leads, or customers? More lookalikes of your best customers, a higher customer retention rate, increased brand loyalty, or win back some of your old customers? Laying out these goals helps you define your analysis process and helps you decide how to turn that data you collect into actionable insights. Profile your best customers to learn how they differ from other customers who purchase as much or provide the greatest profit. Dig deeper into the demographic data you have, consumption habits, behaviors, and payment choices. Once you know who your best customers are, which customer segments are best to focus on, then you can build your strategies and tactics to find more lookalikes of those same customers. Every organization needs to create a data strategy that fits its needs. It will be different for every organization, every category, and it may be different for different segments of your customer data. Today, you need a data strategy that is more balanced between your organization's need for data and your customers' willingness to share that data. You have to be more careful with data you collect to make sure that consumers see the value in continuing to provide your organization with that data. When consumers don't see the value, they stop providing data. That's not such a situation that's good for any marketer. Machine learning and artificial intelligence are now familiar to anyone that's watched Netflix and had movies recommended to them, or watched a TikTok video of cats, dogs, and found themselves with more recommendations for cat and dog videos. Recent research shows that about 46% of marketers are familiar with machine learning and AI tools, even though they don't know how to use those tools. As a marketer, you need to start becoming familiar with AI, machine learning, low-code and no-code marketing tools that give marketers superpowers that they have never had, even if they aren't data scientists or don't even know how to do computer coding. These tools are becoming widely available in every aspect of marketing, from customer analytics, customer insights, and marketing intelligence, which is these tools with numbers where language is no barrier to understanding their benefits. However, every aspect of marketing is benefiting from automation tools, from web development to email creation, even writing subject lines. Marketing automation tools are especially important for reducing the complexity of marketing workflows. For example, in creating omni-channel marketing campaigns where direct mail, email, and digital ads may be coordinated from a single marketing automation control panel, such as with Adobe Marketing Cloud or XMPie. Today, there are so many marketing automation choices that the question isn't about choosing one. It's about how to integrate them with your existing marketing stack. Luckily, there are AI-driven integration tools such as Zapier, which can help you with that. Marketing automation frees up valuable time for small marketing organizations to improve their marketing output as well as marketing outcomes. This is really the benefit of adapting marketing automation in 2021. Balance customer acquisition and retention. Marketers have had to balance the investments in growing their business and creating profits in their business. During much of the last year, some marketers invested in customer retention, doing their best to maintain the customer relationships that they already had. Other marketers saw the pandemic as an opportunity to grow their customer base and convert prospects into customers. Neither strategy is right or wrong unless organizations focus too many resources on one strategy at the expense of the other. In any organization, acquisition and retention need a balance. So how do you know where to focus resources at a given time? Start by mapping out your customer's journey. Customer journeys is not new. Businesses still don't take enough time to learn how different audience personas discover their products and services, which channels they are found on versus which channels customers buy on, what channels offers, what messages, offers, and calls to action trigger response, and which of those actions and behaviors turn into conversations and sales. Assess your brand and customer health. Once you've mapped out your customer journey, turn to analytics to learn how often customers purchase from you. What is their average lifetime value? Are you seeing an increase in customer churn or a reduction in customer loyalty? If so, is this something that you can address with a retention program? If your customer base has been 20 to 30%, then you may need to put more effort into acquiring new customers to make up for the loss of your older, more established customers. During the pandemic, businesses of all sizes and types have reported their customer loyalty has been shaken. Consumers report that they've tried many new brands during the pandemic, and their loyalty may stay with some of those brands. Smart marketers are investing in customer retention and efforts to win back formerly loyal customers. Test these two kinds of efforts in 2021 to see if they pay out for your brands. Plan for the unexpected. In previous years, marketers have been able to make reasonably accurate predictions based on past category and business patterns. But in 2021, those predictions are harder to make. The COVID-19 pandemic has upended nearly all facets of marketing and strategy, sending marketers back to the drawing board time and time again. Be a signal, not the noise. During times of volatility, customers are looking for sound voice to help guide their decisions and to keep market dynamics in perspective. Since corporations have greater access to resources than individual organizations have a responsibility to provide useful information, help, and comfort. Once the recession and pandemic are over, consumers will remember the brands that showed up to lessen the load, mentally, financially, and supportively. Consumers value brands that serve as a voice of reason amid uncertainty. What seems to be the wrong thing for organizations today is to not be in the conversation at all. It's too easy to be forgotten, overlooked, or worse, ignored. Dig into the data that you have to help chart your course. In 2021, marketers can't avoid getting hands-on with data. Marketers have to carefully navigate marketing calendars and review the results and what customers are telling you. The pandemic has spurred different business conditions across Japan and the world. So businesses that provide tools for customer listening and personalization will be at an advantage. You can target your message to customer groups, different regions, based on local conditions. Play for the long term, not the short. In the US, we call it playing the long game. What that means is taking the steps now to set up your organization for the long-term success. It means not sacrificing long-term gains for short-term wins, no matter how tempting those short-term wins seem. Digital marketers are used to making quick campaign pivots, but other marketers need to look beyond short-term campaigns and think about long-term results of your marketing programs. Sometimes the best results come a bit later during times like this. You can play it safe while carefully pushing some boundaries to inform and inspire your customers in unconventional ways, helping them to navigate the challenges of these times. Scenario planning. Use scenario planning for these times. In the lead up to the year 2020, marketers were already struggling with disruptive technologies, evolving marketing channels, changing business models, and new kinds of competitors. No one was expecting COVID-19, nor the turbulence that is caused. Traditional planning has been unsuited to marketing and managing through the coronavirus. Managers have found themselves planning, pivoting, then going through the process time and time again. Brainstorming and thinking out of the box may not be the best way to frame or think of marketing problems when you have to go through a series of constantly changing iterations. Start with what you know best about your customers and your business, then adapt your ideas to the changing trends that you observe around you. I recommend that you try scenario planning, where you create multiple scenarios, best case, worst case, and short-term and long-term scenarios based on the data and knowledge that you have. Many firms have developed 6, 12, or more scenarios. Here are 5 steps for scenario planning. Identify the trends affecting your business. What are the major trends affecting how your business functions and how your customers are making decisions? The PESTLE framework helps identify relevant trends both internally and externally. What are the political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental trends that are relevant to your business? Compare and combine these trends to get more holistic view of what's relevant to your marketplace and how it affects you. Use data to separate what you know from what you don't. Identify the assumptions you're making and expose your major blind spots. Interviewing key stakeholders to uncover how they envision the future and what assumptions and accepted truths they believe. Then challenge those ideas to identify the real knowns and those truths that are actually unknowns. Map out various scenarios. You'll likely have a long list of trends, assumptions, and unknowns. Now it's time to prioritize. Identify the trends that start to look at the major trends that are converging. Scenario planning is all about telling a compelling story. So give each scenario a memorable name and fill in the details of what that reality might look like. Don't ignore the worst case scenario. The point of scenario planning is to identify all possible outcomes, even if they're less than ideal. Don't focus on the likable or most likely. Prepare for the worst case scenario and mitigate its effects ahead of time. Prepare to keep adapting and pivoting. I've used the word pivot more than once today. This last year, we've learned the marketers need to be flexible. A major benefit of scenario planning is that a single idea can be compared across multiple hypothetical futures. Use this tool to develop ideas that will win even when the unexpected changes occur. Direct mail. Nothing, including direct mail, has been resistant to change during the last year. We're seeing more hyper-personalized direct mail and more direct mail that incorporates interactive elements such as QR codes and augmented reality. We're doing more programmatic or triggered direct mail used for retargeting or as part of a marketing automation program. Direct mail has incorporated more design and layout elements that are easily scannable with copy that's easy and quick to read and comprehend without the user spending much time or thinking too hard. There are fewer words being used in direct mail packages than there were just a few years ago, and direct mail packages have fewer pages or individual elements within them than they did years ago. I'm not going to spend much time today going over example of these trends. However, they are going to be fully explained with examples in an upcoming webinar. This is just a little teaser of that session. So let me conclude. COVID-19 has had a huge impact on business, marketing, and direct mail. It's acted as an accelerant of many trends that had already been with us. Consumers have adapted new long-term behaviors like online shopping, home delivery, curbside pickup, touchless buying, and cashless purchases. Direct mail remained important in 20 and 21. Direct mail has adapted to changes for the 21st century. Marketing budgets are leaner than ever. Every channel must prove its ROI to remain part of the marketing mix. Frame your planning around trends that you observe. Don't think too far out of the box. Today, even iteration needs to be iterative. Marketing organizations need to remain agile, provide value, and stay up to date with the changing needs of their customers. Keep planning for the unexpected. Scenario planning can be an important tool for staying ahead in 2021. Thank you for joining this webinar today. We look forward to when we can gather again as a marketing community. We understand this is a challenging time to think about 2021. However, planning is an ongoing process for marketers. If you'd like to learn more about any of the planning issues raised in this webinar, contact your representative at Fusion. We can help make 2021 a better year for your marketing. Again, thank you for your time today.